Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio, where Joe Garcia is, and also coming at you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is where I'm at right now. I'm at my daughter Gabby's apartment, visiting her for the weekend. We saw the Cowboys last night. Joe is wearing his Cowboys gear, his Cowboys hat. Are we going to start the Friday out with a grito? Can we do that in honor of the Dallas Cowboys getting back to 500, now 2-2 on the season?
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
I just like that he's in front of La Margarita. Some gritos are sad, some are happy, some are joyous, but it's a happy grito for Cowboy fans. Joe, how did you feel your boys played yesterday?
It was a shitty game all around. I'm going to be honest with you. This was not a good game. It was an ugly game, but you know what? A win is a win. So I'm going to take this win as a Cowboy fan and you know what? We're back to 500 right now. But the problem is that the schedule ahead is a tough one. So Cowboys had to have this one, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about that. They needed this game because they couldn't fall 1-3 and go through that gauntlet of games to come, because it's funny when you look at the schedule and what you think is going to be an easy game sometimes turns out to be a hard game and vice versa, right? Last year, we were like, oh, the Lions suck. Well, the Lions are really good, right? And there's some teams that are suddenly good. The next game the Cowboys get a bit of a break, right? They got 9 days to prepare for the next game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That big rivalry between the Cowboys and Steelers gets to be reignited again. The Steelers are 3-0. Somehow, some way, the Steelers are playing bad teams, but they're 3-0. They're getting the job done. Steelers are a decent team. The Lions then go into Dallas. Then the Cowboys have to go to San Francisco to take on San Francisco, who's 1-2 and reeling right now. Then they've got the Eagles, they got the Texans, they got the Commanders, who now look good with Jaden Daniels. They needed this win yesterday, and they got it. But they got it by stopping the run. Is it because the defense figured things out, Joe? Or is it because Devin Singletary is not that good of a running back and Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback? Now, here's the thing. They got the dub. They needed to get the win. So that, first and foremost, needed to be done, right? Somebody reached out to me on Twitter early today and was like, hey, man, win or lose, Cowboys were going to be criticized either way, right? They lose, they suck. They win, well, they played a bad team. But it feels like this team wanted to give this game away. The Giants were in it down to the last stretch. They could have gotten a touchdown down the way to get the victory. But, the Cowboys pulled it out. They held the defense, the running game in check. They only gave up 20 some odd yards on rushing, which is like one of the best game defensively this season in the NFL. I'm just looking at it, man, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, the Cowboys got the win, but it was an ugly one.
It was an ugly win, but a win is a win, nonetheless. And Tex-Mex Frank says takeaways. He says Dak played well. Rico needs more play. Overshown is a beast. He goes, need consistency. And we got some other comments. Chris Gonzalez says the Giants had no running back and an okay O-line. They all right, but at the end of the day, I mean, Aubrey, man, the golden leg, the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That guy, man, he might be the best kicker in football right now. But it was just a field goal for soiree that was on full display yesterday. You had some touchdowns here, but for the most part, teams were just exchanging field goals left and right, and I get it, man. It was a pretty ho-hum game. It wasn't very exciting, very sexy, very boring game. I mean, I was watching it because I'm a Cowboy fan. I was texting our boy Rick Fernandez, letting him know, puro pinche Cowboys a la verga, so we're happy. We're walking in with our chest out, our heads held high right now as Cowboy fans. We're going to enjoy this victory and see what happens in next week. Right now, the Cowboys are going to get that bye week right now. they're not going to be playing on Sunday. But I'm going to say I tip my hats off to the Cowboys because this was a quick turnaround for them. They had to play 2 games in less than a span of 4 days. So I know the team was probably going to be tired, and that's probably why they had injuries out there. It didn't give the body enough time to, recover. But nonetheless, the Cowboys found a way to wind up winning this game against the Giants.
Dak Prescott had a good game. I mean, not a great game. He was all right. He was doing okay. CeeDee Lamb finally showed up, by the way. CeeDee Lamb with that big 52-yard touchdown to give the Cowboys a lead or extend the lead early in the game. You take a look at this game. It was just a game where I kind of feel like the Cowboys played a C minus game, and the Giants played a D plus game, and they eked it out. Right, the spread was 6. Cowboys won by 5. So the Cowboys did what they were supposed to do. They got the win. Ugly wins matter, man. They matter just as much as pretty wins. And that is the thing about it is that I wish my Saints had gotten an ugly win against the Eagles last week, and it didn't happen. I'd rather have an ugly win than an ugly loss. So good for the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys, I can't say that defensively they kind of fixed things defensively. Mozzie Smith had a better game. But it's the fact of the matter is that they played a team that has no run game, that has a bad quarterback. So it's kind of hard to say whether the Cowboys fixed anything. It's just they just got to win. That's all they did. They just got a win. That's it. And Dak Prescott, he didn't throw for 350. I made that joke on Twitter yesterday that he had 100 and some odd yards. He's somehow going to magically end with 350, and he didn't. He just had an okay game, decent, a really good passing percentage, didn't cough the ball up. The Cowboys were a turnover away from losing this game, but they didn't do it. They just stayed the course. They won a road game, and all those games matter, especially in the division. And getting back to 2-2 is very, very, very important. But Joe, give me a letter grade for the Cowboys.
I'm going to say the Cowboys did okay. If I have to go ahead and give a letter grade, I'd still probably give them a C plus. They did enough to win, but they still didn't look good out there. The defense showed that they still have some big problems, but the offense came up and got this game for the Cowboys. I told you it was going to be pretty low scoring affair because I didn't think both teams were going to play very good, and sure enough, they did not. Didn't
Mike McCarthy look like he was going to get fired? Like he had that look of, oh my God, I'm about to get fired if we lose this game. He had a deer in headlights look when he was holding the playbook or the play sheet and all that stuff. He just looked all out of sorts, man. He looked like he did not want to be there. Cowboys got some running from Rico Dowdle. I mean, didn't get 50 yards, but I mean, he at least looked somewhat okay.
Serviceable.
He's got to be RB1 when it's all said and done because Zeke Elliott's just trash. Zeke brings nothing to the table.
Yeah. Here's a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Seth. He says, Puro pinche Cowboys for life. For lives.
Well, we're going to be talking more about the Cowboys later in the show because at 10:30, Johnny Walker will be on the show. Johnny Walker, Longhorn great, Texas high school football Hall of Famer. Johnny Walker from UT Longhorns. He was a Holmes Husky. He's going to be on at 10:30 talking about the Cowboys, talking about UT. UT playing their first ever SEC game this weekend. It's a big game. I know the UTSA Runners are going to be back in action as well. But, Joe, I mean, last night's game, it wasn't exciting. But a win is a win is a win. It wasn't exciting. But everyone's saying on the chat, C minus, C minus. Everyone's saying C minus.
I give that's what it was. It was a win. It was a win, I
mean, Tony Ronaldo, C minus. Mexican Junior, C minus.
C minus.
Tex-Mex Frank, all of you guys saying C.
Yeah, I said C as well. Look at Tex-Mex Frank. Someone needs to get McCarthy a bigger cap. Always looks like he has a kid's cap on. He had a big head. He got that 5 head.
He's got that 5 head. That big ass head, man. But it's all right, man. It's all right. The Cowboys at least get some time to rest. They got the win. They got some rest. They get to scout the Steelers this weekend because the Steelers play on Sunday. So it's good. It's good all around for the Cowboys, right? I mean, they got what they needed done. Dak Prescott wasn't moving the sticks the way that he should have because there's no run game. That's it. There's just no run game. Rico Dowdle getting 46 yards. Zeke Elliott getting under 20. There's just no run game at all. So it's kind of hard to say what they've got. I mean, the Giants, would you say the Giants are one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL right now?
Yeah, they're pretty bad, man. And you look at what's his name, Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he just didn't have a stellar game. Again, he looked better than he did, let's say, last season, but he's still not that quarterback that's going to get it done for the Giants. And you can already tell that this team is not going to be very good at all. They're probably not going to win more than a handful of games. They're going to be a lottery team, which begs the question, Ewers, is he going to be a Giant?
Well, Giants would have won if they had Saquon Barkley, but they didn't, right? They didn't have a running back. Devin Singletary, all 5'8" of him, was not going to do anything. He was not going to be breaking tackles. So it's kind of hard to say what goes on, but the Cowboys got the win. They're back at 2-2. Now we get to see what happens to the rest of the NFC East on this Sunday as well. Again, Johnny Walker is going to join us at 10:30. Man, he does a fantastic job with us. We do have a super chat coming on in. Mario Cavazos with a $4.99 super chat coming on and saying, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Giants are Dak's bitch.
Giants are Dak's bitch. Dak has beaten the Giants 13 times in a row. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's their bitch.
Dak's the mayor of New York.
It's like Aaron Rodgers to the Chicago Bears. That's Dak Prescott to the
I was going to show this here. Look at this. This little stat here is this little tidbit that I found. As far as fantasy football goes, you got the great CeeDee Lamb there leading the pack. It says week 4 wide receiver rankings for fantasy football. Number 1, you got CeeDee Lamb. Then it's followed by Justin Jefferson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rashee Rice, and then you have Jamar Chase in the top 5, So I'm glad, that we got CeeDee Lamb.
He did his job. He did his job.
Leading the pack. How about that? And you know who else did I? They did I. Dak Prescott.
Yep.
And look at his final numbers. 19 of 21, 195 passing yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 86.4 as far as his PFF grade. I know Mike McCarthy doesn't know about the PFF.
Oh, I know, man. He told Rob Thompson from San Antonio Sports Star was all on him about the PFF.
What is that? What is that?
Like he didn't know. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions for 98 yards, had that big 55-yard touchdown. I was watching the game, by the way, from Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Oh, I saw that.
I'm here with Gabby right now, and Gabby just walked in the room with breakfast. They do not have the breakfast burrito in Louisiana at Chick-fil-A. So had to get the chicken sandwich instead.
But what were you doing? You were watching it as they had there was a live stage, right? They had not a live stage.
Oh my God, they were good.
Jazz.
So Gabby and I first went to a jazz bar, and they had the NFL Network on, right? So backtrack there. She picked me up around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. We make our way to Bourbon Street. We have dinner at this Filipino restaurant, which is brand new on Bourbon Street. And there's a lady there doing tarot card readings and all that stuff. God. And they're like, "Oh,
you're going to be single for life."
Yeah. If you have this drink, it's going to cause an aura of this. If you have this, it's going to cause that. All of that stuff. And I was like, whatever. This is, it's funny. It's New Orleans. It's funny, right? So we go to a jazz bar afterwards. We're having a couple of drinks there, listening to some jazz music. It was more of a rock jazz, it was more blues than it was jazz. So we go, we watch this blues band perform, and I'm like, hey, well, at least get to watch the game a little bit. Watching the game, the NFL Network, is doing their pregame show, but then I realized they didn't have Amazon at that place. So I was like, we got to go to a different place. So we went to this other bar that had live music. These 2 women singing. They were amazing. They were really, really good. We had this group of British guys that were there for a bachelor party. Their wedding's going to be on Saturday. And we were part of the bachelor party when it was all said and done, man. These guys from London were hysterical. And they're like, oh, you're from Texas. They got all excited about that. Apparently the bride's from Houston.
Wow.
So anyway, so we kind of hung out over there. What was funny about the band, though, was that they had a QR code, and it was like a jukebox. If you scanned their QR code, it told you every song that they do. And if you tip them $5, they'll sing that song next. It was like a real life jukebox.
Nice.
It was interesting. So and if you wanted to make a request and they knew the song, they would go with it, right? So like I asked for them to sing Mr. Brightside by the Killers, right? Pay them $8, $5 plus an extra $3. Paid it in there. They sang Mr. Brightside. I wanted them to sing a different song, and it's like a singing jukebox. It was amazing. But no beads though. No beads.
No beads. You know what else happened yesterday too? After the game, you had CeeDee Lamb going through the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
And some kid asked him, "Hey, give me your gloves," And instead of giving the kid the gloves, CeeDee Lamb takes off his shoes and he goes up there and gives the kid the shoes.
Wow.
He made sure the kid got the shoes too. He was jumping up and down without any shoes on. He gave the kid his cleats, as you can see from the video. And then he had trouble with the last one. It kept falling.
That's cool.
He couldn't catch the shoes, so he kept giving it to him. And he's like, "All right, you good? You got it now."
Okay, first
well, that's
of all,
pretty cool of him.
His name is not CeeDee Lamb. It's Cedarius DeLeon Lamb. We're going to call him by his full name. And Rain Prescott had a good game yesterday, a decent game.
Here's the question, though. Yesterday, when you're watching the Cowboy game, did they sing any Tejano?
No, we're in New Orleans.
Come on, Mike.
There ain't no Mexicans in New Orleans. Come on,
yes,
man.
There is, Mike.
It's all about the jazz over here.
And what was up with you yesterday hating on Laredo? You were hating on Laredo. You hate El Paso. Oh, come on, man.
That is so funny, man.
What's next? So I said, what's next? You're going to be hating on El Paso? My best friend's from El Paso, man. And my family actually originated from Laredo. My grandmother moved up here from Laredo all the way to San Antonio. She came to San Antonio, real talk, way back when. And she's long gone already. But the reason that Garcias, my lineage, came over here is because my grandmother migrated from Laredo to San Antonio on a horse and buggy, dude. Back in the day when they didn't have no automobiles. That's how they got here, dude.
Okay. Hating on Laredo. I wasn't hating on Laredo at all. So for those of you who don't know, that got a lot of play, man. They got a lot of play. But people were more on my side than against me when it comes to it because the Express News released an article yesterday saying that USAA's Federal Savings Bank headquarters moved from the San Antonio campus to USAA's campus in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, the job still stayed, but the title of headquarters moved. Now, keep in mind, just this past year, New Star got bought out by Sunoco, right? So New Star is no more, and there's only a handful of jobs still remaining from that, and those are going to be gone in a couple of years. AT&T moved its headquarters to Dallas. All of these different places. Right. So I was there going, I made the joke the other day that San Antonio and Laredo, the only difference is that San Antonio has an NBA franchise, and people want to piss that away by going, well, we don't want them we don't want to spend tax dollars on $1 billion complex downtown. I'm like, well, do we want the team or not? Do we want them or not? Because that's what it takes. It's a big boy league. We need a big boy facility. Are we going to do it or not? And for people, imagine the city of San Antonio without the Spurs. Imagine without the Spurs. If San Antonio Spurs moved to Seattle, imagine if that happened.
But which city is poor?
What's that?
We got that $1.99 super chat coming in from Midtown, Texas. Which city is poorer, Mike? San Antonio or New Orleans?
I would say New Orleans now because it got wiped out by Katrina 20 years ago. I mean, literally the whole city in the area was underwater. So, of course, it would be New Orleans. But who cares? I'm visiting. I don't live here.
But
the thing is, they had all these people get all butthurt when I said that San Antonio. We talked about this just a couple of days ago with Jeff Garcia. San Antonio back in the late 90s was a great place to be, man. You know, we were saying that the heyday was probably 94, 95. You had all the Air Force bases. You had all the new things. You know, the Alamo Dome was new. Fiesta, Texas was new. SeaWorld was new. I mean, San Antonio was a pretty happening place. It's kind of going downhill, and that doesn't make me a dick for saying it. It just makes me just a realist when it comes to it all. That's what's happening to San Antonio. We are getting lapped by Austin. We're getting lapped by Houston. We're getting lapped by Dallas. And right now, there's a lawsuit going on between Southwest Airlines and the city of San Antonio over the airport.
Wait. Did you read the article, though? Because I know they're getting sued now. So
Yeah.
what's happening? You see, you have the tale of two sides here. So you have the city of San Antonio kind of saying, hey, we want to do this for you, Southwest Airlines, to keep you in the facility. We're going to give you at first it was, we're going to put you in the new wing. Then it was like, no, we're going to keep you in the old one, but we're going to put in renovations, $100 million worth of renovations to kind of sweeten the deal. Southwest Airlines said, all right. And now they're like, no, it's not going to be good enough for our future growth. Both sides are at an odds right now because there's too many factors at play here. Southwest wants to actually be the number one, I guess, airline there. They want to be treated as such, and so much so that it seems like Southwest wants to impose their will and kind of say, you want us here? You got to kind of push out some of the other guys because we want to be the only guy, the only airline in town.
You see, I get it, though, because San Antonio gets criticized for what? Having no international flights directly. I mean, there's a handful of them, but I'm using no as a hyperbole. The fact of the matter is that we want to have the airlines like Delta and American Airlines that go places, you know, the Emirates and all of those different airlines to come in here.
Alaska Airlines
to shore up the international stuff that we're lacking. Southwest is domestic, and it does some international. Like you can go to Jamaica, you can go to the Caribbean, you can go.
You can't get on
Mexico.
Jamaica with one flight. Here, you got to get a connecting flight somewhere else.
Right. So Southwest is there saying, hey, we're the one who you brought to the dance. We're the one who brings 40% of your traffic. We're the ones who are projected to bring 50% of the traffic. We deserve the best terminal. Terminal 3, by the way, is going to be, I read, twice as big as the other two combined. So I can see why Southwest is pissed. Southwest is there going, we're your number one tenant. You know, we're your number one guy. Why are you screwing with us?
Yeah, but at the same time, Southwest demands are a little much.
Dude, if they're 40% of the business, I'm in business myself, right? There's something called an 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule in business says that you make 80% of your income off 20% of your clients, the more affluent ones, right? It's like that in all business. They're part of the 80%. Without Southwest Airlines, what are they going to do? I mean, what's the city of San Antonio going to do with that airport if Southwest leaves? Fill it up with more Frontier, more Spirit Airlines? Get the F out of here, man.
What's another budget?
How many cities are being sued by an airline? That's so stupid.
Oh, it's just because Southwest wants to go ahead and impose their will, and they want to go ahead and push the city to go do more for them and kind of push out some of the little guys out there so they can be the number one destination for all of San Antonio. And it's just a marketing ploy at this point, man.
Tony Ornalis reaches out to us on our YouTube stream. Mike needs to revise the show's name to the Poor City Sportscast since he's all negative about San Antonio. Oh, great, man. Great.
Look at American Airlines, number one. They got their own terminal. You know what? American Airlines is nice, dude.
No, they're okay.
All right. It's better than Southwest. Southwest is the via of the airline, right?
Okay, so
it's no frills, man.
So we've established that Spirit and Frontier are the Greyhound, right?
Southwest is right there, Mike. They ain't all that. It's all right.
Southwest is decent, man.
It's all right.
I don't mind Southwest. They're now going to have assigned seating, so it's going to be like a big boy airline at that point.
It's still all right. I mean, look at
the ones here are the ones I don't like.
United has nice planes.
United is I mean, okay, the granddaddy of them all, the three best ones are Delta, JetBlue, and Alaska. Those are the best three, and probably in that order. The bottom three are Frontier, Sun Country, and Spirit.
Southwest is down there. I've flown on these other airlines, man, and those other airlines are not all that, dude. They're all right.
I mean, the ones that are like middle class, like the working class ones, are United and American. American used to be really good back in the day.
Yeah.
It's kind of just I mean, it's just decent at this point. United is
Right.
the same way. But Delta is a different stratosphere, man. Delta.
I've gone on Delta planes, and
Delta's
they're nice. They clean the planes right after they land. They have a lot of leg room. They're more modern. It's a nice place, man.
I like Alaska.
Look at
JetBlue is also really, really cool. Got a
$10
super chat coming in. Say from Sam Salinas saying, hold on. Could San Antonio potentially be better off without the Spurs, more so SSNE? I think SSNE is what keeps other pro leagues out. So give up the NBA for the NFL, MLB, and NHL.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not going to get the Spurs. Spurs Sports and Entertainment. I mean, that is the story. Joe Reinagel from San Antonio Sports Star, formerly of Ken's 5, has told me the stories, and he mentioned it on the radio before. He says that he knows for a fact that it's the Spurs that killed NFL chances in San Antonio.
We said, look at this. We need a soul plane terminal. Speaking of that, they're flying out of San Antonio. They need to have Edgar Airlines.
Well, that would be Frontier. I see that we have a guest. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do have a guest coming in.
Johnny Walker, Longhorn great, Holmes Husky standout. What's up, man?
Man, I'm laughing at the Edgar Airlines, man.
Edgar Airlines, man. You have to, Johnny. You live here in San Antonio. You know it's Puro Edgar, Marbach. You know, come on.
Johnny,
they're gonna tell you. They get you on the plane. They get you on the plane, Johnny. They're gonna say "No quemas, ka," you know.
That's funny. I can see. You know what? I can see that though. That's the funny part about it. I can actually see that.
What's your favorite airline and what's your least favorite airline, Johnny?
Delta is probably my favorite, and I cannot stand Southwest. I really can't.
Telling you, man.
I just, that's like the ghetto airline. I'm sorry. We already have sold. I'm sorry. I'm just not a Southwest fan.
It's no frills, Johnny. It's dirty. It's a dirty ass. Be a bus, man.
I feel cheap. I feel cheap when I'm on a flight there. I just feel cheap, man. Oh, something about
Johnny,
it.
Preach, man. I'm telling you. I told Mike the same thing.
Tell me, have you ever flown Spirit Airlines?
I have flown Spirit.
And Spirit compared to Southwest, because Spirit, it's like you want a soda that's going to cost you. You want to sit by the window, that's going to cost you. You want to bring a bag, that's going to cost you.
They charge you for ice, man.
There's an airline in Asia that charges according to weight. They weigh you and your luggage.
Wow.
And then your price is adjusted according to that. So if you are a big guy, you pay more. If you bring a lot of stuff, you pay more. It's kind of funny.
Can you imagine if they charge by weight? Man, here in San Antonio, those airlines be making some money, Johnny. I'm telling you, man.
They do. I'm saying they do. You're right.
All right. Let's say Johnny's going to Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a $500 round trip ticket, right? $500. He can fly. I don't know, Delta, JetBlue, $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're given the option of $250 round trip, but you got to fly Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Which ticket are you buying?
I'm gonna take Spirit. I'll take Spirit.
There you go.
I'll take anything but Southwest, man. Honestly, Spirit isn't that bad.
They might have to fly the plane back, Johnny, but hey, it's not that bad.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Have you heard that joke? That joke, it was a comedian who's like, someone has a heart attack on Spirit. They ask, is there a doctor on the plane? They're like, no, they're all on Delta. Doctors don't fly on Spirit Airlines. But you know what's high flying? Those Dallas Cowboys, Johnny Walker. The Cowboys getting back to 2-2, 20-15 over the Giants yesterday out there in Jersey. Give me a letter grade for the Cowboys. What did you like? What didn't you like for the boys?
I think it was just great to be able to see the defense stop a running. I mean, everybody has just been running up and down on the Dallas Cowboys defense. So it was good to be able to see them contain the Giants and just a better football game all the way around. So I was happy to see their performance.
The Cowboys seemed to me anyway, to want to give that game away. They did not. I mean, they won the game. They did enough to win the game, but it kind of felt like they let the Giants just hang around, and any decent team would have gotten a touchdown off the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys did play better defensively against the run. Is it because they fixed things, or is it because Devin Singletary and all that?
I think it's because the Giants just aren't all that. It's not just Devin Singletary. I just think they have a very good football team. So I was expecting them to win this football game. It didn't surprise me. I'll be honest though, I was surprised that they were able to shut down the running game. But New York Giants don't have a very good football team.
Yeah, but they got 2-2. So talk about that from a perspective of a former player.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between being 1-3 and 2-2 to start the season. That's light and day difference, right?
It is, but I think a lot of it also has to do because you got to remember the Baltimore Ravens were 0-2, and there's nobody would have thought that, looking at their football team that they would have a record like that. So a lot of it really for me is how you get the win and how you get the loss. That's really what it means more to me than anything. I mean, if you just stink up the field and you play terrible and you're losing, I just think that just weighs more than a close football game, and they look like they have a chance to be able to win a football game.
I was going to ask you, Johnny, one of the casualties of yesterday's game had Cowboy fan on the edge of their feet, and that was Micah Parsons going down, being off the field and taken straight to the locker room. It's being reported that he has a high ankle sprain, so that means that he could be missing a game or two. I mean, I hope he comes back sooner rather than later. The Cowboys are going to be facing gauntlet of a schedule coming up here in the next couple games. They're going to need all hands on deck to even have a chance of winning these games, and they can't do that without Micah Parsons. So with the high ankle sprain, how long do you think he's going to miss?
Man, I've had a high ankle sprain before, and man, those are like the worst. You're talking about, even to where you're walking halfway decent, you're talking about 4 weeks. I mean, I couldn't even imagine trying to come back earlier than that. I mean, it's just one of those injuries that lingers around, and it's easy to re-aggravate in a game. I just hate high ankle sprains. They're just hard to get over. There's something that's you're gonna be dealing with for the rest of the football season.
Talking to Johnny Walker, Longhorn great, also a member of the the Texas Hall of Fame, for Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Yes, sir.
I gotta say, Johnny, man, I was looking at some pictures. I was gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna put a nice picture up here for Johnny Walker, man. Man, look at Johnny, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that. I'm like, man, Johnny cleaned up nice, man.
So Johnny, let's talk about the Cowboys' upcoming schedule, man. They've got Pittsburgh next, who suddenly is 3-0, like out of nowhere is 3-0. They've got Detroit, they've got San Francisco, they've got the Commanders, who have Jaden Daniels looking good. Yeah. They've got the Texans. I mean, they have a gauntlet there of like 5 or 6 really, really tough games. Do you see the Cowboys surviving this stretch of games, or do you think that maybe after 10 games, they should be fortunate to be 5-5?
That's a tough question. I think a lot is going to have to do with if they can get Micah and how many games Micah is going to miss, and still work out some of the issues they have on the defensive side. Again, they played a good football game against the Giants. Excuse me. But I just don't think the New York Giants are a good football team. So coming up against this gauntlet, this is make or break. I think these next 4 games are make or break for the season for the Dallas Cowboys for sure.
I'm looking at your shirt right now. You got some burnt orange there.
Oh, yeah.
Excited about UT's first ever SEC game, baby. First ever SEC game, Mississippi State.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How excited are you for the Longhorns to finally get that SEC schedule?
Well, it's definitely something that everybody's been looking forward to. I know I've been looking forward to it. The SEC, we know, is probably one of the, or if not the best conference in college football. So it'll be a great test for Texas to see how well they play. And I always tell people, I mean, you can look at some of the scores in SEC games or some of the wins and the losses, but when you actually got to play against that opponent, you're just playing some better football. I just think the SEC teams are just so much better. Now, Mississippi State has struggled this year. I think they're 1-3. They're win the game against Eastern Kentucky. But I think this being the first SEC game, I think Mississippi State is willing to put everything on the line. I mean, they definitely have to win this game if they have any chance of having a halfway decent season. So I think this could be a trap game for Texas. I mean, this is a team that they're really going to have to stay focused to be able to get that victory.
Texas #1 in the nation at 4-0. Mississippi State coming in at 1-3. Vegas has the line as Texas favored by 37.5 points. But it's
37.
SEC football. It's SEC football, right?
That's a town. I don't know about 37.
He says that he'll take the points in this particular game. Arch Manning, man, he is showing that the future is here. It's still Quinn Ewers' team, right? There's no way in the world that Arch is going to take this team away from Quinn, right? When Quinn's ready to go, it's his team.
I don't think there's any question that, and I think Sark has done a good job of staying out in front of it. I think that any chance that he's been asked, he's always saying no. Quinn Ewers is our starter. I think if you ask Archie the same question, he'll tell you that Quinn Ewers is a starter, and I think that's the right mindset to have. Archie Manning, of course, we know is a great talent. I mean, he just every time he gets on the football field, he shows us something new. There's no question that the Texas future is in good hands, but I think that Quinn Ewers has definitely deserves to be able to continue down the path that he's gone. I know it's kind of bad because he was a Heisman favorite, and I think missing a game or two is kind of hurt some of those chances. But it'll be great to be able to see him get back on the football field and take the reins of the vaunted Texas offense.
Very nice.
Yeah, Texas is gonna have this hopefully easy cruising to a win here against MS State, because their next game that they have coming up on the docket on October the 12th.
That's the game.
That's the game right there, because OU has had Texas's number these last couple games. And you know what?
Yeah.
Being a Texas fan, a UT fan, I want to see Texas just go in there and annihilate OU, man. I just want to see them blow them out of the water. But I know it's going to be a highly contested game nonetheless. It doesn't matter what the school's records are or what the team's records are. They're going to go at it. Highly contested rivalry. And I'm looking forward to that. It's the good old, the Red River Shootout,
Yeah. See, that's why I'm saying this game is a trap game. You're hoping that Texas focuses on Mississippi State and not think about the big rivalry that they have against OU. So I'm a little bit more worried about this game than some other people are, because they can be easily overlooked, especially being your first SEC opponent. So I'm a little worried. It's one of those games where I got to see how things go the first couple of series to see where our mindset is and how we're approaching the football game.
Is this the game where Ewers is going to make his return?
I think everyone is saying that he is. I mean, I think Sark was supposed to announce it today. I know Quinn wants to get back in. I'm sure he does because of the momentum that Archie Manning has got going for him. But like I said, I think Sark has done a good job of letting everybody know that this football team is Quinn Ewers and Quinn Ewers alone. And I believe he's going to definitely be able to get in there and play. And I think it's important for him, too. I hate for him to be off 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks or whatever before they played against OU. So I think it's important for him to be able to get some snaps in this football game.
Yeah, look at this, Mike. We're going to go to you right here. It says Ewers needs to get back on that Heisman track.
Well, if he misses another game, he ain't going to get it. You can't miss.
There's no way. Yeah, he can't. Yeah.
So give me a prediction. You hit the nail on the head a while back, a couple of weeks ago. Give me a prediction.
I was pretty close this past week too. I think I said 56-0, and it was 51-3. So I was right there.
But you're predicting a closer game than what Vegas thinks with a 37-point spread.
I think that this game will be 37-10. I think Texas wins 37-10.
Very nice. By the way, I'm in Louisiana right now. I can place that bet for you legally over here. So I'm over here in Baton Rouge. I was in New Orleans yesterday.
Okay.
So we got to talk real fast. We talked about this yesterday, me and Joe. There's a quarterback for UNLV named Matthew Sluka. Have you followed this story?
Oh, yes.
3-0. 3-0. He quits the team because they didn't pay him the NIL money that he says that he was promised. He said $100,000 was being promised to me by one of the coaches. I only got $3,000 in 3 weeks. He's like, I'm done. I'm good.
I'd have been gone too. I mean, show me the money. Where's my money? You know what I'm saying? And you know what? That doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately, I think that this is something that is probably going to start happening. I believe that this happened to a Florida quarterback. I think he was freshmen coming in, and they had promised them a couple of million or something, and they wound up not coming through with that before he got on campus, and he wound up transferring to another, or wanting to put in his transfer for another school. Here's the deal. Unfortunately, we don't have, or the NCAA and the schools don't have any control over the NIL as much as they want to think that they do. If something is promised to you, I think that it needs to be honored. Now, I was thinking that it was because he wasn't playing well and they didn't want to pay his money, which I could understand. But if you're 3-0, I think you're handling your end of the deal. Now, I hate that he had to take off and leave during the season. I think that's unfortunate. I wouldn't be surprised if that money magically appears, especially if they lose this next game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Now we have.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an envelope real quick.
Now we have holdouts in college football. We have like CeeDee Lamb and things like that. It was also not only him, a running back also quit the team because he said he didn't get his NIL money either.
Yeah, man. They got to figure it out, man. I can tell you that I think this happens a lot more than what people think. I think especially when you get into the transfer portal windows, I think kids are saying, hey, man, this school's offering me this much money. What you going to do? I mean, I think we had a deal with that with Xavier Worthy, where there were teams that were after him. He had his deal with Texas, and he wanted more money. And guess what? He got it. So he stayed here and he finished that last year at University of Texas. But that's going to happen. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. I mean, that's the business that we're in today. So I don't have a problem with it. But I think that there's definitely going to be some issues with teams not wanting to fulfill their NIL agreements.
I mean, look at this comment, Mike.
Yeah.
UNLV.
Yeah, but Wesley Snipes said it back in the 90s, always bet on black.
There you go.
That's the problem. They bet on red.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, so it's funny, all that goes on. I mean, you look at UT, the standouts that they have on the offense right now are players they took from other teams, or players they took from Bama, they took from other SEC schools. And it's strange. I mean,
I noticed you said took. What are you trying to insinuate, sir?
Well, poached is the word, baby. They poached them. I mean, it is what it is, baby. You know, what's that old saying? Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's what the Longhorns did. I think Isaiah Mon, he made it very clear. He said the reason why I'm leaving Alabama to go to Texas, it's a business decision. I think the one thing that I can say about Chris Del Conte, who's athletic director, he made it very clear. I said we won't have any problems when it comes to NIL money. So we got that under control. So if there's any agreements that we've made, you're going to get paid and then some. So I think that they've made sure that they've taken care of that at the University of Texas. We don't have that issue, as you can see, as all these 5-star players keep rolling in. So the money's good and strong at the University of Texas. I asked you recently, like, if NIL existed back in the day, back in the late 80s, when you were at UT, whether or not you would have banked, and you said, I would have gotten a car and you would have done various things. But the transfer portal, my goodness, if that existed back in the day, we could have bought Wilbur Odom out of Michigan and brought him back to Texas, baby, where he belonged. I'm still hurt about that. That was my first hurt disappointment in my life. I was 8 or 9 years old when Wilbur went to Michigan, didn't follow you and Keith and Terry to Texas.
Yeah, there's a story behind that, man. We were up that night before we were actually making our official announcements. We were up till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like literally, all fours were together. I think we were at Keith's house and Keith and Carrie's house, and we were literally like, are you serious? I was like, what are you doing? Why are you going? And the best answer he could give us was he liked their helmets. I was like,
man.
You like their helmets? I was like, dude. I said, you're killing me, man. But yeah, we tried everything we could to talk him out of it, man. But he was dead set on going to the University of Michigan, and he made the most of that situation there.
Oh my goodness. I have that. We talk about the what ifs in sports. The what if is Keith and Carrie Cash, Johnny Walker, Wilbur Odom, all from Holmes High School making their way to UT. What would have happened then and there? It would have. I mean, no disrespect to the other quarterbacks that you had there, but that was Wilbur, baby.
No,
No
Wilbur
disrespect.
Wilbur by far was the best. One of the best quarterbacks I ever played with, and made it very clear when I was at UT. I said, "Man, our high school quarterback is better than any of you guys that you have out here." I honestly think that one of the things the issues that Wilbur had with the situation is I think that there were so many people who tried to discredit how good of a quarterback he was because he had 3 incredible receivers, actually 4, because I think we leave out that equation. Mike McKenzie, who also got to go to the NFL as well. He went to Baylor and he went to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think there were so many people who discredited his abilities and what he was able to do because he had 4 dynamic wide receivers and tight end that he could throw the ball to. And I think there was always people just rumbling, oh, he's not that good. He just has these great receivers to throw the ball to. But let me tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, no, he was that good. He was really that good. And what we were doing at that time was just ridiculous, what we were able to the feats that we were able to do at Holmes High School. So that's not a knock to Wilbur, but it's also, I just want people to know now, Wilbur was that good. He was that good. He was.
Yeah. Do you still keep in contact with the guys?
Of course I do. Yes, absolutely. Yes, we hang out every now and again. We get a chance to hang out. It's a little different when you got kids, so we can't act as crazy as we like to act, but we still get to hang out every now and then and do some things together. So it's always fun, especially when I go to UT games. I'm able to bump into my brothers, and we're able to hang out and do some things. And Wilbur, we still talk on the phone all the time.
Talking to Johnny Walker, former Holmes Husky great, Texas Longhorn great. We have you on Fridays doing the show. We really do appreciate you being on. Oh, yeah. And I like having these conversations about just life in general. Tell me about being a coach now in high school. And is that something that you ever saw yourself doing?
I always saw myself being a coach. That was something that I love working with kids, and I love helping them reach their potential. I think that's a gift and something that I've always been willing to give all the knowledge that I had playing sports. I always saw myself being the head coach at Holmes High School. I don't know what it just hasn't happened. It hasn't come to fruition. So I'm still trying to see what's going on with that. But no, I actually wasn't intending on coaching, but I thought this was a unique situation coming here to Brooks Somerset Collegiate, where they had been a 6-man football team, and this was the first time that they wanted to venture into being an 11-man football team, and to be able to flip this around and be able to be as successful as he's been has been an amazing experience for me. I am so happy that I took the opportunity to come out and coach, and we're having a great time winning, man, and making things happen here at the school.
How does that work? You're offensive coordinator, correct? How does that work? At end of the year, I mean, is there do you job search? Do you job hunt? I mean, I know I have a friend of mine who's a coordinator for another high school in Northside, and he's always on the prowl, man. He's forever. He wants the head coaching job. He wants to go from linebackers coach to coordinator, from coordinator to whatever. So he's forever. He's like, I don't care where it is. He's kind of like Deion Sanders. I don't care what Power 5's. Colorado, fine, I'll go. He's kind of like that. Is it like that? Just give me a job, just someplace, somewhere, in a big district. Is that how that works?
You know what? For me, not necessarily. It would have to be an ideal situation for me to really coach. I'm an assistant principal, so I love being an assistant principal. But I never give up the hope that I could be the head coach at my alma mater. I think Holmes has gone through some really bad years the past couple of years. They've been struggling. And I think that I still have family on that side of town. I still have a lot of friends on that side of town. And I would love to try to be able to get Holmes back on track, and because it's such a storied program, and I just hate to see how downtrodden they've become over the past couple of years. So that's probably my last hope in coaching. But I like doing what I'm doing here now. But we got to get Holmes back right, man. I mean, the dogs need to be. They need to get back to where they used to be, man. I hate to see it.
It's been a while, man.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I was going to say, we got an incoming question here from Mr. Johnny Walker. Tim Gonzalez is saying, Mr. Walker is a former athlete. How does an athlete handle a weather delay?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like keeping the mind right and everything,
Yeah. I whenever I was in the weather delay, I was anxious. I was ready to go. So it's kind of difficult in that set. You try not to get too overhyped. Understanding the weather delay, you also definitely want to see what kind of weather delay it is, because I hated playing in the rain and all that. I ain't gonna lie, I hated that. I could deal with the cold and it being hot, but if it's raining and sleet and stuff like that, nah, that I didn't like. So I think it depends on what kind of weather delay that it is. So if it was sleeting and snowing and stuff like that, I'm like, nah, we can just cancel the game. I don't want to play in that kind of condition at all. I hated that.
Too cold, and it makes the field a mess, man.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm one of the guys that's on the outside. I'm not trying to get all dirty, man.
Johnny thinking about his car. He's like, man, I don't want to get in the seats and get him all dirty.
Man, I can't be doing that, man.
Now, Johnny, I'll be back on the microphone next week for you guys, but you guys have a game tonight. You guys are undefeated when I'm on the mic, man. Do you hear me?
I know.
Oh, man.
Do you hear my presence when I'm there?
Killing me, man. But you're not gonna be here tonight, though, man. What's up?
Family to attend to, baby. Family to attend to.
All right, man. All right.
But yeah. So, do you hear me when you're out there, or are you just?
I do hear you, and I start cracking up when I hear you. I'm laughing when I'm hearing him the whole time. I was like, he's getting it though. You do a good job though. You do a good job, man.
Correct one of the officials.
No, I think the funniest thing is when you're trying to pronounce the names.
Oh no! Okay, first of all, I was congratulated on one of the names over there because I was rolling my R's. I might be a coconut, but damn it, man. I'm going to say your name correctly. You know, I was like, and someone was like, man, no one here could pronounce that name. You know, I was like, I was rolling R's.
You're trying to say like Ramirez, Riojas.
Yeah.
You know?
I wasn't Ramirez.
Yeah, you're killing me, man.
If you have a Spanish name, I will pronounce it in Spanish. I'm a coconut, but I know that. My favorite was when I was doing the game last week. There was a 10-yard penalty on you guys, and it made it first. No, it was a I don't know the penalty. It was false start or something like that. It was like 5-yard penalty. Right?
Yeah. So
it's supposed to make it 1st and 15. And I said false start. I said, penalty on the Bears, false start. It's 1st and 15. They marked it 1st and 16. I said something that
the officials were horrible. Oh my God, some of the calls were ridiculous, man. It's so funny sometimes. I almost got kicked out of the game. True story. I go to the referee. And I was trying to be calm. I thought I was calm. I thought I asked very nicely. And he just got, you know what, I'm reporting you to the Texas. I said, well, you can do that, but we're not in UIL, so you can do that if you want.
Have fun with that.
Then he says, you know what? That's it. I'm retiring. I quit. I was like, what? I said, what do you mean you quit? So the guy literally quit. He said he'd been refereeing for 30-something years. Now, I didn't tell him this, but I was like, with the way you guys officiated, you needed to retire after this last game. Man, it's a funny story, man.
It was funny. I saw you look back, and I swear you were looking at me, and I was like looking away.
I was.
I was like, why am I making eye contact with you? Coach the game. That's the game. No, but it was funny because I looked at the spot, and I was like, 1st and 15, or where it's spotted 16 at the 25-yard line. And then the official ran back, got the ball, and moved it forward a yard. I was like,
no, I have one now. Now here's the play that I have to ask now, and you can ask some of our guests. I have never in my life seen where a player has ran into the end zone.
Oh my God!
Got the 15-yard penalty, or they threw the flag for taunting. So they take away the touchdown and move him back 15 yards from where he did the taunting at. Now, have anyone ever seen that before? I've never seen that before. Okay. Usually you get the touchdown and they give you the 15 yards on the kick or extra point try. So I just wondered, is that a rule? Or is that I missed that? I'd never seen that before.
I could not believe that happened. So to kind of set the tone, it was a pretty close game between you guys. You guys were against John Paul II, the Centurion, Corpus Christi, right? And you guys had the ball at the 35-yard line.
Right.
And your quarterback scrambles to the right and weaves his way through, goes all the way for the score, right? And it was a great play, fantastic play. And he said something. Now, I know he said something because he looked back while he was scoring, right? He had two defenders.
That's what he did. You can't look back when you score. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
The two defenders were maybe 3 or 4 yards. They weren't going to catch him. But he looked back and apparently said something at the 2-yard line, goes into the end zone for a touchdown. They called a penalty, right? 15-yard penalty. They, like you said, they said, no, we're going to address it at the 2-yard line, not on the extra point, on the 2-yard line. I have never seen that.
I've never seen that. Is that a rule? Is there someone on here that knows if that's a rule? I've never seen that, and I was trying to look it up in the rule. I've never seen that before. I didn't know that was a rule. That's crazy.
The other guy announcing with me is also a coach, and I looked over at him. I said, "Is that right? Do they call taunting mid-play? Mid-play? That's a mid-play penalty, really?" And so it's not like holding, like run and then hold and you put it at the spot. It was so weird. And then you guys had 2 penalties in a row, and then you got stopped. You got stopped on a like for a loss of down. It was like 3rd or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, all these points are coming off the board. And then he was trapped. Your quarterback was trapped, and he threw. I'm sorry, he's a good quarterback. He threw a grenade.
Yes.
He
did.
He skyhooked it. He skyhooked it to the receiver. 3 people went up for the ball. Your receiver came down with it and scored a touchdown. It was.
And look at this. Is this true? Is this true, Johnny? They said Mike slams his headset when the band plays a mariachi song over there at the stadium.
There's no mariachis, man. The music is being played right next to YouTube.
Come on, Mike. Mike takes everything, man.
Very nice. Well,
no, you can't.
He hating on his own people, Johnny. I'm just saying, man.
Dude.
But you know what, though? He can't roll the R's, though. The R's, he does real good with Ramirez and Rodriguez. He does a good job with that, man. I was proud of him.
What's that one name? There's one name that was on your team, and it's so funny because I look at the sheet, and I'm looking at the play. I have really good eyesight, like far distance eyesight. So I'm like, oh, that was number 32, that was number 23, whatever. And I look at the sheet, and I saw the letters, Joe, Sixto, which I know is Sistel, right?
Damn.
But just
I was about to say that's pretty good, man.
To not see that name in
that's
years.
Pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, Mike. Between me and you, I don't know. I don't even know half of our players' names. I really don't. I just go by numbers.
12.
I'm terrible with names, man. I gave that up, man. I don't even know. I don't even know our names.
That's funny.
I guess I better learn them.
There's some interesting names out there, but I try to roll with it. But Johnny, thanks for being on with us, my man. You gave us a prediction.
Always.
Cowboys got the win. Longhorns gonna get the win. Texans should get the win as well. It's gonna be a good weekend for Texas sports fans, man. Very, very nice.
Absolutely.
Johnny, good luck tonight, and
all right,
make it 3-1, baby. Make it 3-1.
All right, my man. Hey, it's nice talking to you guys, man. We'll see you next week.
Yes,
all right.
sir. Thanks, Johnny.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Dude, I like just talking life with Johnny, man.
Great, Johnny Walker.
Good people, dude. It's good people.
Yeah, everybody in the chat giving you flack, man. That was funny, dude.
What did I do wrong this time?
Oh no, they're just making fun of you because you're out there calling the games, and they're like, "Does Johnny think Mike's funny, or is he laughing at Mike making that?"
Laughing at him or with me? You know what? Yeah. We need to have that. We need to have a Alamo City Sportscast listeners go out to watch Johnny's team play. It's over on 410 and Vance Jackson. It's outside the loop about a mile on the right-hand side. It's a beautiful little football field. I mean, it's it's not little. I mean, it's a football field, but the stadium probably seats a couple thousand people. It's a very nice place. It's it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, but you're in the middle of the city because Castle Hills is kind of like that. It's kind of spread out a little bit. But it's great time. I enjoy doing the games over there. They told me that they pay me, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that's not why I do it. I just do it just to kind of have fun. And did you see? I got to pitch the show. I don't know. I put it on Twitter. Yeah. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's a shameless plug." No, they actually told me to do it. So it's not just me just getting on the microphone going, "Oh, by the way." No, they reached out to me and they said, "Michael, thank you so much for doing this. You should be plugging your show while you're out here." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I do it at the end of the third quarter.
There you go.
Yeah. So
look at this comment, Jesse A. Mike got to add in that country twang like Minix.
Yeah, I've heard Minix do the Friday night games on SportsStar. Does a fantastic job. All those guys do. The play-by-play. I'm not doing play-by-play or anything like that. I would like to do that one day. I would like to see if I could have the voice to develop that. I think I would do basketball better than football. But when I do the announcing, I mean, every single play, you got to tell everybody what happened. 5-yard run. That was Joe Garcia on the run, 5 yards, makes it 2nd and 5. We're at the 32-yard line, and all that stuff. And Johnny keeps looking back at me. And it's funny because one time I was staring in his direction. He was looking right at me, and I'm doing that thing where I'm pointing at myself like, "Are you looking at me? Why aren't you looking at the game?"
You're talking to me?
Yeah, but man, that official who called a penalty on his quarterback, who scored a 35-yard touchdown on a scramble, and called him for taunting because he looked back at the 2-yard line. Jeez. I don't think you can do that. I mean, that's I don't know, man. Maybe you can, but as an official, as somebody who is an official like I am, you let the score happen and then you call the penalty and then you address it on the conversion. You don't want to have the official determine the outcome of the game. And in that particular situation, the outcome of the game could have been decided by that. Again, the quarterback shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is they still got a touchdown. Dude, that was the worst touchdown pass that I'd ever seen in my entire life. He chucked it up like a grenade. He was running for his life and just tossed it in the air. The ball was like 25 feet in the air. It was like a jump ball between 3 people. The Johnny's receiver was behind the 2 guys in front, and he comes down with the ball, turns around. There's nobody between him and the end zone. He just waltzes
gone
25 yards down the field. And it was like 3rd and 25. It was so funny, man. It was so funny.
We're going to take a quick pause here and we're going to give our show a little plug here and also give some love to Jeff Garcia of News 4, Ken's 5 San Antonio. You can now listen to the Alamo City Sportscast on all major podcasting platforms. That includes Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. So make sure you go out and subscribe so you can get notified when new episodes are dropped. We look forward to your continued support and thank you for listening to the Alamo City Sportscast. Locked on Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. There you have it.
And speaking of Spurs, they're going to have that game that you were talking about. Is it the Alamo Dome? Is that where it's going to be?
No, usually they have it at the Frost Center, but Jeff Garcia here is showing that article that he has out right now. And then he's putting for those going to the Spurs scrimmage at the Frost Center. He says, check out this Los Spurs interview that he did with Spurs Vice President of Marketing about what fans can expect to see in the new look Frostbank Spurs fan shop. So as the Spurs fans get to go ahead and take a look at some of the team, their first look at the new this team with some of the new players, they get to check out the newly revamped Spurs fan shop. And the other thing is that I know that you can want for all the information. I know that I've seen some of the information, but you can also check out the article that Jeff Garcia has on Ken's 5. And it's basically the Spurs announcing that the silver and black scrimmage is going to be taking place October the 19th at 5 p.m. And amongst the things that they're going to have, they're going to have free tickets. They're going to have free parking. They're also going to have $1 sodas, fountain drinks, and $2.50 beer. So they're going to have some things out there for the fan base. And you could go ahead and take a look at Jeff's article that he put out on Ken's 5 to find out how you can get your free tickets.
Sam Salinas with the comment of the day: free scrimmage equals Edgar Fest.
Edgar Fest, damn. But you know what? It's for the people, man. It's for the fan base. It's a good time, man. The thing is that you need to get a ticket. So you can go ahead and text the Spurs right now. They have a number where you can go ahead and text the word scrimmage to them, and you're going to be entered into the drawing that they have. And if your name is selected, you're going to get 4 free tickets to the event. Again, you have to have a ticket to enter the event. The one thing that I do look forward to, I don't know if Spurs fans really know about this or not, is that they have something called the Spurs Yard Sale. So the Spurs Yard Sale is where they have all the merchandise that they couldn't get rid of, right, during the regular season. Some of it is pretty good. You know, like they'll have caps, they'll have T-shirts, they'll have dry fit shirts, you know, bobbleheads, even from Spurs that might not be here anymore, posters, pins, the whole thing. And you can go in there and get a lot of stuff on the cheap. You can get stuff for like $1, $3, $5, and it sells out quick, you know, because Spurs fans want to get their merch, but it's a good way to get some merchandise. And they also have this little court, right, that they set out there. It's a little portable basketball court. And usually they'll have like some older bobbleheads. It might be George Gervin, or it'll be Tim Duncan or another Spurs, you know, great. And they're like, you got to make your free throws in order to earn the bobblehead, you know, and they give them away until, you know, they don't have any more. But it's great because you see, you know, the dads going out there and the kids going out there trying to make these free throws to win some stuff. So it's a good event for the community, man.
I'll make them because I'm sneaky athletic.
We'll see, man. You'll see if you're going to dunk from, you know, the free throw line all the way up to the court, you know, to the rim right there. See if you can dunk it.
No, I get scared of dunking over at those urban air type places where they have the trampolines and stuff like that. Man, that just throws your back out like quick, man. Just throws it out.
Yeah, look at Tim Gonzalez. He likes the great response from Johnny when he answered his question, you know. And that's the thing, is it's interactive, you know. If you have a good question, we're going to go ahead and ask Johnny, and he'll go ahead and get back with you.
This is the People's Podcast, baby.
People's Podcast. And did you see this too? They have that Spurs jacket just in time for Poodles in Paris. And I saw the jacket made by some type of a designer, you know, famed designer. It's ugly, dude. It's like a
tower.
It's like a varsity jacket, right? With the patches and all that. And they have a whole bunch of patches all over the jacket. They have a big patch in the back, and it has like the Eiffel Tower and some other stuff on it. I mean, it looks all right, but for $250 plus, I'm like, nah, man. I'd rather wear something different, you know?
Dude, I've seen some really good Spurs jackets around, and it's funny whenever you see somebody like wintertime, they bring out the Spurs jackets with the leather, kind of like the varsity jackets, but some of them are done really good, man.
Classy.
I saw one that had these black patches that had like Spurs logos throughout the years.
Yeah.
It was really good, man. It was really nice.
You can get these jackets sometimes, man. They'll have them on clearance, like at Burlington or some of these other stores like Ross or something. And you're just looking through stuff. And it happens like during the summer or during the spring. And you're looking through stuff, you know, and then you're like, what the heck? This is a nice jacket, you know? And you can buy them there, or you're going to find them, you know, sometimes even at like thrift stores like Salvation Army or the Goodwill or something. I know that they sell them online too, that you know, there's outlets there where you can buy them. But the ones that people like too are those starter jackets from way back when.
Back in the day.
The old style jackets, you know, like the warm-up jackets, those go for some big money.
Man, that was badass back in the day. The UNLV jackets, the Michigan Wolverines, all of that was in style, man. That gold and blue was amazing.
Yeah, you know what? We got to give you some love too, Mike. We got to let the people know how they
give
can
me
get
some love by changing the photo, dude. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Photo.
You know what? I sent you a photo yesterday, didn't I?
No.
Didn't I send you a photo? I'm gonna send you a photo right now.
I like this photo. I'm gonna keep this one.
Dude, people will make fun of the one that I'm sending you, by the way.
Oh, I got some other
I'm sending you one in a suit. I cleaned up well one day, and I was like, I'm going to use that one instead. But again, 210-508-0369 if you need help when it comes to retirement strategies, when it comes to insurance planning, life insurance planning. I got a call from a couple of people yesterday looking for life insurance. Right now, I'm working on about $1.5 million in investments for people. I gotta cook those investments, put them where they need to be sometime between now and the mid-October. I'm very blessed to have a thriving practice, and it allows me the ability to come on a moment's notice to come see my daughter. I work for myself. I'm independent, love doing what I do. Again, 210-508-0369, 210-508-0369. And just think of me. And, people ask the question, well, who can you help? Well, I don't care if someone's just starting out or if somebody has $1 million. I work with everybody in between. The thing is, I want them to be serious about their future. They want to have goals and plans and things like that, right? People who are changing jobs, who have to who have to move their 401ks, or people who have, I met a nurse recently who had like 10 401ks at different hospitals because she'd go work someplace for 2 years, then go someplace else for 2 years. And we gathered them all together and consolidated them. So it's a fun job. I love doing what I do. I work from home. People ask the question, well, like, what time do you work? I typically work on my practice from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then I work from about noon to about 8 or 9 p.m. I work throughout the day. I'm oftentimes working at 10 p.m., midnight. I do get my 8 to 10 hours a day of work in, but I spread it out throughout the day because I'm self-employed and can do what I want to do. So that's basically it. Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting as well, because there are guys when it comes to concrete placement. They do a fantastic job.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. You get that diamond hard concrete in your life, man. You want it done right the first time? Make sure you call the boys over at MCS General Contracting. You can call them at 210-774-9155. Mike can attest to their workmanship, their craftsmanship, as he's a client as well.
UTSA football gets going this weekend again, trying to get back at it. They've got to their first conference game against East Carolina. It's going to be on the road at 3 p.m. So go Roadrunners. The East Carolina is favored by 4 points.
Yeah, UTSA needs this game because after this game, that's going to happen tomorrow at 3 p.m., they have Rice, and Rice has owned UTSA in the last couple of outings. So Rice is not a bad team. They are a very good team. So UTSA will have its work cut out for them against Rice on October the 12th. But one of the things I was going to talk about as well, Mike, is I wanted to show this to you. You're a big Ohtani fan, right?
Yeah.
So look at the Dodgers. They went ahead and clinched the NL West. So they're the champs. And they did this for the 11th time in the last 12 seasons. And they were minus 450 at the start of the season. Who would have thought?
Well, minus 450. I mean, that means you should be doing it. And
yeah,
Joe,
you should be.
Joe, I'm going to email you right now. What's your email right now?
I'll tell you off camera. Like, I don't want to.
Oh, okay. It's the Two Shots podcast one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to send you a photo of me right now. And I'm going to want you to tell me whether or not you think that you would want to use. I'm texting it to you right now. So I want to get your opinion on this photo. I want to text you to get your opinion on this photo. Should I use this for the graphic? Should you use that one for the graphic, Joe?
Let's see.
And if you want to show the people your instant reaction to this photo, because keep in mind, it needs to be cropped out. I get it, right? But I need a different photo, Joe.
Well, you just need to give me another photo. I haven't gotten it yet, but I know it's coming. But another thing we're going to talk about as well is we're going to go ahead and look at the MLB playoff picture
Oh,
currently.
nice.
You have, oh, I see the image now. We have Kansas City versus Houston as far as the AL West wild card there, and the NL you have Arizona against Milwaukee,
Right.
and then you have Detroit and Baltimore, New York and San Diego, the Padres. So of course, you know, the winners go on to play these other respective teams. As far as New York, you have the Dodgers, then you have Cleveland and the Phillies that are awaiting the winners of these wild card games. So it's a big how to do because it's going to be the last week of the regular season for MLB. And then what happens is that the playoffs are going to be a starting here, which is going to be the greatest time in sports because you have college football, NFL football, MLB playoffs. And the best thing about this whole month of October, we are going to have NBA preseason play happening too. So it's going to be getting near the start of the season.
And the Spurs season starts the regular season on October 24th. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it all, dude. This is the best time of the year. And the 100-degree temperatures are going to go away. The 90-degree temperatures are going to go away.
Nah, they ain't going away. They're still going to stick around here.
Like George Strait was saying, man, the chill of an early fall, baby. That's what we need.
Yeah, I'm going to look at this picture now. I'm curious to see it.
Are you going to post it for the peoples?
I don't see. Let me see how you sent it. I think you might have sent it via text. I can't post something on a text. Yeah, we got to get rid of the background though, man.
I was feeling myself in that photo, Joe. It's me in a suit.
Do you have a couple of drinks?
A couple of them.
Yeah, I could tell by the eyes. The eyes don't lie.
But very nice. So again, the Longhorns take the field tomorrow against Mississippi State. First SEC game. Got UTSA taking on East Carolina. First game of the American Conference for the year. Cowboys have already won. I'm debating whether or not to go to an LSU football game tomorrow. My daughter says she'd rather go someplace else. She'd rather hit the casino. So we might do that one instead. Either way, I'm going to have a blast over here. But I'm going to let you guys go, Joe. Let's call it a week. It's been a fantastic week. And thank you to all the listeners who are out there. Hit the like and subscribe button. And thank you also to Johnny Walker for being on today. And I hope that his team, the Somerset Academy Collegiate, is the name of the school. Brooks Academy. Hope they win tonight. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. I'd say go Cowboys, but they've already won. They're 2-2. Go Saints.
There you
Beat the
go.
Falcons.
We'll see you all on Monday. Peace.